Guten Abend, mein Damen und Herren. Mr. Pass here back with another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes commentary video. Now we are talking about Bounty Hunter rework today, and if you haven't already watched my video on Bosk, you can click the link in the top right corner, click the card to be taken to that video. But the main takeaway here is that all of the Bounty Hunters, well, not all of them, Boba Fett, IG-88, GREEDO, DENGAR, and Bosk have all had contracts and contract payouts added to the characters in-game. You can click the card in the top right corner right now to be taken to my video specifically on contracts. Kicking it off right now with Boba Fett, who really saw the least amount of rework here. He really just had healing immunity added to his execute. So if you don't kill the target with execute, you will inflict healing immunity for 2 turns. So it's not quite as bad to use execute on a target that you may or may not kill. You have a little bit of an added bonus effect there of inflicting healing immunity, which is going to be pretty helpful, especially considering all of the health and protection gain that's going on in the game right now. IG-88 saw a huge change to a few of his abilities, and the first one was his first special ability, his only special ability, Rapid Fire, where he inflicts target locks on all enemies that are critically hit now for 3 turns, and that feeds his unique adaptive aim algorithm. Now, it's pretty much had its description almost completely overhauled. He now adds the text and has a ZETA where he will recover 50% health whenever he damages a target-locked enemy. In addition, he has a plus 20% offense for each debuffed enemy, already had that, and 50% evasion against target-locked enemies, increasing his survivability quite a bit. And while IG-88 is active, target-locked enemies can't recover health or protection. Very similar to the Imperial Probe Droid, which is very awesome. I really like this mechanic and the fact that they're starting to use some of these buffs and abilities that aren't really being used quite so often in the game, or are only used by maybe 1 or 2 other characters. It's good to see some of those mechanics actually being added to the game. Moving on to GREEDO now. GREEDO had a few things changed and actually got a new ability. We'll get to that in a second. His basic ability had it changed from 45% chance to gain evasion up to now 70% chance to gain potency up. Very awesome. I love potency up, especially on a character that you're trying to land thermal detonators. In addition, when he's attacking an enemy with a thermal detonator, the attack has an additional 25% crit damage. Speaking of his thermal detonators, his special has been renamed to Explosive Sabotage, and now no longer has a chance to gain 25% turn meter when his thermal detonators explode, but now he is guaranteed to gain that 25% turn meter whenever his, and only his, thermal detonators explode, which is nice to give him a little extra turn meter, especially if Zam gets a chance to blow him up for him. Moving on to what I believe is the biggest change to really any of the bounty hunters here. GREEDO got a whole new ability with a ZETA upgrade. It is called Threaten and has a 4-turn cooldown. All allies gain crit chance up for 2 turns. You also reduce the target enemy's turn meter, can't be resisted except by raid bosses, by an amount equal to GREEDO's crit chance. Stack those crit chance mods. Then GREEDO gains an equal amount of turn meter as was removed this way. If the target is reduced to less than 20% turn meter, stun him for 1 turn, which can't be resisted by the way, and additionally, dispel all buffs on the target enemy. This attack can't be evaded. GREEDO just became one of the best bounty hunters in the game. I mean, that's one thing that the bounty hunters have been missing, is a dispel, so that is really awesome to see. DENGAR, one of my favorite bounty hunters, got a few little tweaks. His basic saw an increase from 50% chance to inflict speed down. Or sorry, not his basic, his first special, Blast and Smash, got an increase to 75% chance to inflict speed down. Very good, I like it. And that obviously keeps the other mechanic of being able to stun if they're below 50% turn meter. And then his Mini Mine Mayhem, his second special ability, got a nice little tweak. It, in addition to dealing damage to all enemies, will now deal physical damage to 2 random enemies. an additional time, dealing 50% less damage, and then of course gets the negative status effects on enemies that suffer a critical hit based on the number of critical hits scored. The big change was to the 2 crit hits. If you score 2 critical hits, you also gain stealth for 2 turns. Rather, Dengar gains stealth for 2 turns. And then finally, apply 1 thermal detonator to a random enemy target for each bounty hunter ally. So that means 5 thermal detonators are going to be tossed on the enemies if you have 5 bounty hunters. I don't know if that counts Dengar or not, but this ability also cannot be countered. Heck, why not, right? So then just adding a little bit more interesting element to Dengar's kit as a whole, they tweaked his unique, gave it a Zeta upgrade, and now Grizzled Veteran, when Dengar is stealthed, enemies can't gain stealth. That really nerfs R2. And then whenever this ability's effects trigger, Dengar recovers 3% health and protection. Now, remember that this ability also has the effect that whenever Dengar receives a critical hit, he gains stealth. I'm assuming that is what they're talking about whenever the ability effects trigger. And then also when an enemy evades Dengar's attacks, he gains 60% turn meter. And then in addition, gains 3% health and protection. And then whenever Dengar suffers a debuff, it gains tenacity up and 3% health and protection. That is pretty cool. He also gained a new leader ability, which is, it's alright, it's pretty cool. Bounty Hunters allies gain 50% health steal. I'm liking it. In addition, all enemies have minus 50% crit damage. Okay, I like it. I like it a lot. That basically turns their crits into normal hits if they don't have any additional crit damage. When Dengar is in the leader slot, of course, gains the contract, and we'll get to contracts in a little bit. All in all, guys, I am really digging these reworks, especially GREEDO and DENGAR. I think DENGAR already had a pretty versatile kit, but again, like a lot of characters in the game, like Zeb, he has a great kit, yes, but that kit doesn't really earn him a starter spot on a lot of squads, you know what I mean? So Dengar, while having a really unique kit, between his really subpar damage output and the kind of RNG aspect of Mini Mayhem and Grizzled Veteran being good but not quite good enough, I think they've really made Dengar a viable character in the game, especially in the Bounty Hunter faction. In addition to that, just imagine territory battles. Whenever Dengar goes into stealth, all those annoying friggin' rebels can't go into stealth themselves, making it a lot easier for you to mop them all up and kill those nasty little buggers as before they can jump into stealth. Basically, as long as you can keep Dengar stealthed as often as possible, you're gonna be able to just attack enemies at free will, especially squads that don't have R2. GREEDO, especially, having that deep dispel and stun and turn meter removal all in one ability, that is a monster ability. I think I'm going to have to gear up both my Dengar and GREEDO guys. With that said, thanks for watching. Like, favorite, subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check me out on Discord. I love to hang out, have fun over there, and I hope you like the shortened format of these videos, trying to keep them under 10 minutes for y'all guys. And with that, guys, keep on gaming, and I'll catch you later.